Welcome, guys. This is Melody FS Academy, and welcome you guys to another episode of our daily market review. And we're going to be we're going to be looking at NFP, the live commentary that we did on NFP in our Telegram channel. We're going to be reviewing it today. And if this is your first time of coming across this channel, please do well to subscribe, like the video, and also to share it with friends. Okay, so on a day-to-day basis, we are always doing live commentary in our Telegram community. So if you are yet to join the community, please do well to find the link in our community tab here on YouTube channel and join the Telegram group. So we're going to be our focus today is going to be on the live commentary that we did about NFP. All right, so everything I'm talking about here was posted live during the NFP in our Telegram community, right? So the group link to the Telegram has already been shared on our community tab here on YouTube, so you can do well to share to join the Telegram group. So now on Friday we were looking at, I made sure that since we traded into the mean threshold of this order block, we have a daily order block to the left side. Okay, so we traded into it and we saw this reaction, and at the same time we traded below the set side liquidity that was residing below the previous day from on Thursday, right? So we dived deep down into it, then we moved away, right? So I saw this as an initial change in the state of delivering, and I made mention that okay, if the dollar should close above this fair value gap, that I want to see the dollar close above this fair value gap strongly. And if that happens before NFP news release, then dollar is likely to see a bullish momentum. But if the dollar does not close above this fair value gap, if it doesn't close above it, that means we're going to see a bearish price move on NFP on dollar. Okay, this was all said in the group even before NFP happened. Okay, so you can join our community, you can join our Telegram community, and you'll find the post there unedited, and everything is there right there, called live. Okay, so now upon seeing this rejection, I was like, okay, since dollar failed to close above this fair value gap, that means we are going to see a bearish run on NFP on the dollar. So I had to just do a quick analysis on the 15-minute time frame, and all this, like I said, was called live. Okay, even before it happened, it was called live in our Telegram group. So I had to take the fib, and I was looking at the consequence encroachment of this week, right? I was looking at the consequence encroachment of this week as my resistance. Okay, I was looking at the consequence encroachment of this week. I highlighted all these in the community in our Telegram. Okay, posted all these levels in our community in Telegram, right? So now you can see, so I was looking at the weak consequence encroachment right here. Okay, just give me a moment. So that's the weak consequence encroachment as a sensitive area, right? Looking at that, as I said, as a sensitive area, and I wanted to see rejection from it. Okay, so we posted these price levels in the Telegram group. So if you want to join our daily live commentary, kindly join the Telegram group, right? So now we had a movement into the consequence encroachment of that week, of that 1 hour week, right? Then at the same time, you can see that we have this other block here, right? We have this other block right there, and I made mention that we have another block here, right? And we traded. It was kind of a slow movement. Then I said I wanted to see price remain below this proportion block, right? I said I wanted to see price remain below this proportion block. This was prior to NFP release, and I wanted to see price remain below this proportion block and gravitate toward the downside. And I also mentioned this fair value gap because prior to the news release, price was just consolidating around it. Okay, it was not like showing the willingness of wanting to come down or showing the willingness of wanting to go up prior to NFP being released as 8:30, right? So we did a live commentary on this. We are calling it live before the event happened, before the news was released around 8:30. Okay, so the news was released around 8:30, and we traded Euro USD, right? I was already in a long position before the news was released, and I'm going to share that entry with us. So notice at 8:30, price did in fact traded up back to the consequent encroachment of that weekly of that week on the 1 hour time frame, then into that 15-minute order block and sells off, taking out the sell side liquidity that was residing below here, right? Taking out the sell side liquidity that was residing, which is the external range liquidity, taking it out right there. Okay, so now this movement sent our long setup on EU, sent it running higher, of course, right? So let's just look at it. Let's review the trade that we took on NFP. So this trade was entered even before the news was released, right? And it was all caught live in our Telegram group. So if you want to join us on our live trading, you can join the group as mentioned earlier, right? So now look at the markets. Let's look at the charts. We had a long entry on Euro USD. We had a long entry on Euro USD, and I was just keeping an eye on the dollar, right? I was just keeping an eye on the dollar. I wanted to see. Okay, you can see the trade here, right? You can see the trade right here. So this was the trade, and this trade was entered before NFP was released. You can see a nice 5-to-1 arrow. So this trade was entered before the NFP news was released. So I was monitoring the dollar index closely. I was just keeping an eye on it, whereas the trade was just running, right? So let me break it down. Let me break the trade down for us. Let me break it down. Okay, just give it a minute. Now, what I did was that we were currently trading in this fair value gap, right? Daily fair value gap, and we also had another block above price, right? So the first thing I did was to post. Let me clean this up. The first thing I did was to draw our attention to this fair value gap. Okay, let me clean this up a bit. Right, so the first thing I did was to draw our attention to this fair value gap. Okay, I posted this in the Telegram channel, right? Posted all this in the Telegram channel. So the first thing I did was to draw our attention to this fair value gap right here. I just posted it. Let's see, and I made mention of this balanced price range. Okay, it has already been covered, right? Prior to when I uploaded this chart, there was kind of some, I think on the 15-minute time frame, if I'm not mistaken, there was a sort of balanced price range above price, right? And I said I'm not trying to call the top or pick bottoms, right? The idea is not to cut the tops or pick bottoms. You want to always stick with the trend. Okay, it is better if you get stopped out while sticking to the trend than for you to try to trade against the trend and get stopped out, right? So it's more better to be stopped out trading with the trend than stopped out trading against it, because by trading with the trend you're going to be building up good psychology, and you're going to be building up the habit of staying with the trend. Okay, but always trying to pick tops and bottoms is going to get you hot really bad. So now we drop down into the 1 hour time frame fair value gap, and you can also see that we were trading at the upper half of this fair value gap. Okay, so price traded above, traded through the consequent encroachment. Okay, that's what this dotted line is for, the consequent encroachment of this daily fair value gap. Price traded through it, and we were retracing down. Okay, retracing down. You can also see that this is also a breaker block, right? So you can see the low, the high, the lower low, the higher high, traded back down into that as a breaker block right there. Okay, traded into it right there, but my main focus was on this fair value gap. So I highlighted that and I posted it in the Telegram community, posted it there. And all right, so let's go down to our 15-minute time frame. All right, so now I posted that on our Telegram, and I refined it to the 15 minutes time frame. Okay, so I refined it to the 15-minute time frame, which is this fair value gap right here. Okay, I refined it to the 15 minutes time frame. I'm just interested in it to the so I refined it to the 15 minutes time frame right here. Okay, so I refined it to the 15 minutes time frame, and then as soon as we drop, this was prior to the news release. Okay, so we dropped down exactly into this fair value gap, exactly around 7 o'clock. Okay, so we dropped down into it exactly New York opening session, right? So now went down to our 1 minute time frame for our entry. So like I said, we got in a long position even before the news was released, right? Even before the news was released. So now you can see price dropped into the 15 minutes fair value gap and the 1 hour fair value gap, right? Dropped into it, and we moved away aggressively. So what we used for our entry was this inversion fair value gap right here. Okay, so this was originally a bearish fair value gap, then price traded above it and closed above it. Okay, so it becomes an inversion fair value gap. So price traded back down into it, and that was our entry right there. Okay, that was our point of entry. Okay, so we had our buy limit there, we had our instant execution here. Okay, so you can use buy limit, you can use start execution. So but this was what's the premise of what we used in executing this trade, right? So now we entered there in on a long. So we went there and we were targeting the minor buy side liquidity that was residing above this hold high here. Okay, so that was our target. We were targeting that minor buy side liquidity, and all this was done before NFP was released, right? Before the NFP data was released. So we were targeting that minor buy side liquidity. So that this was our target, which gave us, I think this gave us about 5 to 5 RR, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it gave us a 5 RR trade, right? So, and as you can see, there was many opportunities to enter in this trade, right? There was many opportunities to enter in this trade. There was a lot of opportunity to enter on this trade. Okay, so this was our first entry here, and if you wanted to take another entry, your moment of, or I'm not going to put it, this would have been another opportunity for another entry right here. Okay, let me take this out of the way. This would have been another opportunity to enter on this fair value gap. Okay, that would have been another opportunity to enter on the fair value gap right here. Okay, that would have been another opportunity to enter. So now we had already entered a position, right? We already entered a position there, so price was just moving back and forth. Then during the news release, so the data was released exactly 8:30, traded down a bit, then attacked the minor buy side liquidity here, then took out this high. Okay, buy side liquidity residing above that. Then notice how it came back, it dropped down. So, and I also said that because we were consolidating prior to the news release, that the market is going to move, that the data is probably going to run the market both ways, right? So buyers and sellers are going to get affected, and you can see that was what happened. So the market, the data was released news 8:30, price traded down, then moved up aggressively. Those that had their buy stops above here, and probably breakout traders. Okay, just give it a minute, let it load up. Hold up. Now those that sold short here, right? Those that had their sell stops, buy stops above here were knocked in on the trade. Breakout traders chasing that were knocked in on the trade. Then what happened? It went the other direction. So both traders that decided to chase this on a breakout, or that sold short having their buy stops above this high or here were knocked out, right? They were knocked out. You can see that this was a consolidation, so they can trade that as a bullish. Is it a bullish, or yeah, I think bearish bear flag, something like that, short pattern, right? So breaks out and they can be chasing that short, right? So they had their buy stops above here, and those that chase it on the breakout, so they are going to get bonds in both direction. That was exactly, and notice how it came back after the news. We came back to our entry, exactly to our entry, stopped and went in that direction. So even if you like you didn't get the opportunity to enter in here or here, you could have entered it one more time before you traded to the upside. You get, so that was just it, and all this was called live in our YouTube channel, in our Telegram group. So that's just our that's just it on our review on NFP. So the next video coming up is going to be on our it's going to be on our weekly review. Okay, so that's going to be the next episode coming up after this video. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe.